بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
In every era, people have always wondered how this seamless universe or cosmos began, where it leads to, and how the laws sustain its order and balance or equilibrium. For hundreds of years, philosophers and scientists have conducted much research on this topic, which have resulted in many different theories. The prevailing idea in the 19th century was that the cosmos was a collection of matter, infinite in size, that existed since forever and that would continue to exist for all eternity. Paving the way for the materialist philosophy, this viewpoint denied the existence of a creator God, while it maintained that the cosmos had neither a beginning nor an end. Materialism is a school of thought that holds matter to be the only absolute being and denies the existence of anything else. Literally, nothing else matters. Having its origins in ancient Greece and gaining an ever-increasing acceptance in the 19th century, this school of thought became well known in the form of the dialectical materialism of Karl Marx. The materialists considered the infinite cosmos model to be the chief support of their atheist ways of thinking. For example, in his book Principes Fundamentos de Philosophy, the materialist philosopher George Politzer said that the universe was not a created object, and added, if it were created, it would have to be created by God, instantaneously and from nothingness. When Politzer argued that the universe was not created out of nothingness, he was basing it on the static cosmos model of the 19th century, and thinking that he was presenting a scientific claim. But science and technology that developed in the 20th century eventually refuted this intellectually crude idea called materialism. It was discovered that the cosmos is not constant as the materialists assumed, and, in fact, it keeps expanding. It was proven with many observations and calculations that the cosmos had a beginning and that it was created out of nothing with a big explosion. Today, these facts are acknowledged by the whole scientific community, and the discovery of these very important facts has been made possible as a result of revolutionary observations and findings. In 1929, in the California Mount Wilson Observatory, Edwin Hubble, an American astronomer, made one of the greatest discoveries in astronomy's history. While he observed the stars with a huge telescope, he discovered that they emitted a reddish light depending on their distance. This meant that the stars were moving away from us here on Earth. According to the established laws of physics, the spectra of light beams travelling towards the point of observation tend towards violet, while the spectra of light beams moving away from the point of observation tend towards red. This is known as redshift. During Hubble's observations, the light from stars was discovered to tend towards red, which meant that they were constantly moving away from Earth. Later on, Hubble made another very important finding. Stars and galaxies moved away not only from Earth, but also from each other. The only conclusion that could be drawn from a cosmos where everything moves away from everything else is that the universe is constantly expanding. To use an analogy, the cosmos can be thought of as the surface of a balloon being blown up. Just as the points on the surface of a balloon move apart from one another as the balloon is inflated, so do the objects in space move apart from one another as the cosmos keeps expanding. In fact, this had been discovered in theory even earlier. Albert Einstein, who is regarded as the greatest scientist of the 20th century, had discovered after the calculations he made in theoretical physics that the cosmos could not be static. But he had kept this discovery to himself, simply not to conflict with the widely acknowledged static cosmos model of his day. Years later, Einstein identified this act as the greatest mistake of his career. What did the expansion of the cosmos suggest? The expansion of the cosmos suggested that if it could travel backwards in time, the cosmos would prove to have begun from a single point. The calculations showed that this single point that contained all the matter of the universe should have zero volume and infinite density. The cosmos had come about by the explosion of this single point with zero volume. This great explosion that marked the origin of the cosmos was named the Big Bang, which started to be called the Big Bang Theory. It has to be said that zero volume is a theoretical phrase used for descriptive purposes. Science can define the idea of nothingness, which is beyond the limits of human understanding, only by expressing it as a point with zero volume. In reality, a point with no volume means nothingness. Therefore, the cosmos has come into being from nothingness. In other words, it was created. This fact, which was discovered by contemporary physics only in the 20th century, was stated in the Holy Quran over 14 centuries ago.
أولم ير الذين كفروا أن السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي أفلا يؤمنون.
Have those who disbelieved not considered that the heavens and the earth were a joined entity, and we separated them and made from water every living thing? Then will they not believe?